Good Monday morning, everyone.
Yeah, post Thanksgiving break for all of those who celebrated this past week as well.
Mm,
I was quite stuffed from all the family dinners that we had. I felt like this Thanksgiving was like extra long for whatever reason.
I
It
don't know.
it definitely felt very long for me. I don't
I
know
had the
why.
flu.
Oh,
I had the flu
never.
like the whole
That's
last half
yikes.
of last week. It was rough.
Yikes. Well, are you feeling better? You sound better.
Yeah,
So
we're back online. I
okay, good, good, good,
think we're
good,
doing better. It was rough there. I
good.
survived.
Got through the rough waters there, huh, Tyler?
Indeed, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, those the quest jitters are definitely like I don't know why, but this quest I'm like a little nervous. Oddly, I don't know why.
Oh, there's definitely good reason to be nervous on both, really on all fronts.
Okay.
We just finished it, like writing it,
Hmm.
all the checks and readmes and stuff last
Got it.
night. So
There you go.
kind of pushing it right up to the wire there, and it is by far our most difficult
Right.
quest.
That is right.
So
Yeah.
that should be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, but we're coming in. We're final week of Series 5, so
I know. We're wrapping up.
we're not wrapped up
Almost.
yet, but we
Not
are we
yet.
are closing out the last week. We'll be heading into the holidays,
Hmm.
but we've already got plans. I know T Dep's already figured out Series 6. He's very
Yep.
excited, writing all kinds of crazy. Hey, I've got this great idea for a way more difficult quest we should do next.
Right.
All
I
right,
mean,
pump the brakes.
literally speaking of TDAP, I don't know if y'all check Sorabonathon submissions the way that I do, but while I was stuffing my mouth with food, TDAP was literally going fire this past week. I mean, yeah, let's go through some of these Sorabonathon submissions here. I mean, shout out to TDAP, but like we had plenty of other submissions. Oh, wait, where am I? Not looking at pull requests, but literally, hold on. He made some amazing submissions. One of my favorites. I've been talking. Oh wait, I totally stop sharing here. Uh, Screen. I have so many tabs open. Y'all, I'm on a laptop today. This is not the move. Okay, so we're back. Where is this one? There was a transaction explorer somewhere in here. Share this topic. Okay, there you go. This transaction explorer. I don't know, Tyler. When I saw this submission, I got really excited. Yo, I think TW just kind of provided us like a little cheat sheet for this quest potentially. I don't know. Do you think that there could be any usage here, Tyler, with the transaction explorer? Any
I
hints?
mean, any transaction explorer is a good transaction explorer if it actually works, which I would
Fair.
assume this one works great.
There you go. And then we have TDEP's website. I mean, he created a whole GitHub page with all of his resources, and he even made a Git repo. I mean, a Sorbonne guide, y'all. We have a community made Sorbonne guide, and I am very happy with this. So it's definitely something you should all check out. Let me share the links here in the chat for you all. But just go through these Sorbonne-a-thon submissions in general. Then we have a sorbondev.com. I don't know if some of y'all saw this, but it's by Mr. Wild. I forget Wild's first name. Um, it's just Wild Work. But wait, what is
I think it's
Morgan?
Morgan,
Morgan.
yeah.
Yes, Morgan. He has a website. It's sorbondev.com. It's like an examples page, which we can all refer to beyond the basic stellar examples that we have. And this one especially I really like because it is targeted towards not just Rust developers, but also JavaScript developers. I know Raph, he commented that he found this really like useful and just, I mean, I appreciate this, Morgan. Like genuinely, I feel like the community is. It finally feels like Sormon is like picking up speed, picking up the chugga chugga chews, and we're putting out like I don't know. I just feel like the train's picking up speed here, and I'm getting excited. So go check out these Sorabonathon submissions, and as always, Anukia will constantly keep talking about these. Make sure to make your own submissions. Also, I haven't been seeing a lot of NFT art out there, y'all. There, John Spintax literally put out a whole bounty on y'all to create NFT art this week, or just before the quest ends. So be sure to create a nice comic NFT art, mint it on Lightman, submit it, because the bounty on that is pretty significant. I believe it's almost like 5,000 XLM. Don't quote me on that, or 3,000 XLM, something in that range. But it's in the thousands. That's all I know. It's a good amount of XLM. I mean, if don't be, hey, I mean, sometimes I'm like, darn, I did not do well on those quests. Those timings were not up to speed there. I mean, I can go get my XLM somewhere else. I can't, but you all can. So definitely be sure to do that. I mean, like Eric and Riley have been killing it. Tyler's kids have been on top of these NFT submissions. Y'all should get there too. But yeah, Tyler, any other interesting submissions that you personally liked in Sorbonneathon this week?
I really like the Sorbonne dev. I love content. I love
Yeah.
written, especially people that are these students learning things and deciding to actually write down their explorations. I think we've had a couple posted on dev.to, which is one of my
Yep.
favorite like tech blogs, for just posting content. I really like this one.
Yep.
So I'd love to see more of just content in general. So maybe
I
even
mean,
starting to step away from, as we end this series, stepping away from just kind of rehashing old quests, which is great, but starting to explore your own custom contracts. So we've got a nice library both of example contracts from the Sorbonne examples repo, as well as all of these quest kind of boilerplate. So you've got a lot of Rust contract code to pick and choose from to start to hack together your own contracts.
mhm.
Particularly as we finish up this week, there'll be a lot to work with. Um, and yeah, like writing Rust isn't the easiest, but it's also not that hard. There's a really good Rust book out there. I think there's this intimidation, even in the industry, of, ooh, Rust is super, super hard. And it's weird, but it's not that hard, particularly when you're approaching it from um, you haven't written a whole lot of Rust in the past already, and gotten used to using like the standard library. Contracts don't actually tend to be that many lines of code. Like if you look through all the contracts that we've written so far here, they rarely cross over like 150, 200 lines of code, and most of those are comments. It doesn't take that much code to write some pretty good application logic. So don't be intimidated by trying to write up your own quests or your own contracts. Um, there's also tons of stuff in the Sorbonneathon discussions tab. There's just loads of contracts out there to see
There's
what
a
people
lot
have
of
already written.
ideas. Right. I
Yeah,
feel
so
like there are a
just
lot of
like run with
ideas
those.
flowing around. And
Um,
also, no one said you can't make your own quests, y'all. Just saying. You can make your own quests as well. We still have till December 15th for Sorbonneathon, and there's more to come in January as well. So start thinking of ideas on ways that you can contribute to the community. I mean, Tyler, TDAB, like Kai, and a bunch of other folks have contributed to Elliot, so on and so forth, have contributed to Stellar Quest. But why not make your own quest, right? Like build your own Sorbonneathon or Sorbonne challenges and put it out there in the community. And we can. I'm happy to work with you if you wanted to put some kind of bounty on solving those quests, things like that. I'm always like just a Discord message away. So I'm saying it right now. I will check with Justin if this is all right later. But I'm just saying it right now that I'm sure we could talk about some things like that. So make your own quests. Now that we're wrapping SQ Series 5 up soon. But yeah, I
Yep.
just
So
wanted to
much
plug that in
of like
here.
learning something is just using it.
Right.
But I think it can be intimidating when you don't have like a business plan to build something. But you don't need one. You can just play around with something, whether it's a simple game. I mean, there's a that RFP README in Sorbonneathon, or yeah, Sorbonneathon, with lots of ideas you can kind of pick and choose from. It doesn't take that much to try and explore something. Again, when you're coming from the traditional stellar ecosystem, there's only so many things you can do. Um, and if you enter that mind space into Sarabon, it might be a little bit intimidating. But if you kind of remove yourself from any notion of what Stellar could do and really just it could do anything, the options are kind of limitless. I'm working on, like personally, I'm working on some NFT stuff, generative art NFT stuff, where it doesn't need to output transactions. It doesn't need to make payments. You can literally make a smart contract that all it does is spit out um, a SVG base 64 encoded string, and that's all it does is just spit out an image.
Mm-hmm.
And how that image is generated can be compiled from all kinds of different arguments and history and cross contract calls and stuff. All the stuff that we love about um, full Turing complete EVM or the EVM or just virtual machines in general. You now
Mhm.
have access to, so you really can do whatever you want, which is pretty awesome. I'd love to see some people doing like smart home things where you like submit a transaction and it changes the color of your light bulbs or unlocks your doors or opens your garage. Just really starting to push the boundaries. I don't. I think somebody did a if this then that contract.
Mhm.
Somebody connecting it to Zapier, maybe some no code integrations. Um, just really
Yeah.
starting to again like push the boundaries of the payment space and just tinker around, play around, and use that as an opportunity to learn Rust, to learn the smart contract protocol. You've got all of these great quests to call back to, loads of readmes, lots of content, people starting to write blogs. It's never been a better time to kind of get in there and figure it out.
Yeah, I think we have a request here from Raf being it would be interesting for us to do a video of some sort on how the quests are built on Gitpod. So that could be something that we're happy to provide by we and Tyler. I'm sure would be happy to provide for the community. Yeah, I mean, in general, there's just so much now. I think there's a lot of excitement in general. And also going back to Tyler's generative art NFTs, I believe there's like the NFT Buzz repo out there, Tyler. If people wanted some sort of boilerplate to mess with,
Mm.
um, it's somewhere out there in Tyler's repo. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, that's all with classic Stellar though. We're gonna need to create some new ones for Sarabon. I'm still exploring
Mm-hmm.
that because you can't actually output a string
Mm-hmm.
with Sarabon, so you have to spit out bytes, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. You just would need a converter to turn those bytes into an actual string. So I think there's both exploration needs to be done, but maybe even a request to the
Mm-hmm.
Sarabon dev team that out even if you can't include strings, unless I'm missing something, and you actually can output. Um, you can't output strings; they just can't be arguments. I'd have to consult with folks much smarter than me, but as far as I'm aware, you can't actually output strings, which would actually be a pretty big issue for a compatibility standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm exploring some of those spaces, just kind of seeing what are the common um, use cases for this Turing complete smart contract stuff out there in the world, and seeing how we stack up
Mm-hmm.
with tooling and contracts and stuff. So I mean, you literally don't have to come up with anything on your own. All you have to do is do a little Googling, a little research. I think even in Sarabonathon, you point out some of the near contracts.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many contracts out there. Like that's the beauty of decentralized smart contract protocols is all this stuff is open source. So all you got to do is
Right.
just, I mean, there's even Rust ones. You can go out there and kind of jerry rig some of other people's contracts and convert them
Yep.
into like a Sorabon compatible version of that thing. Even like utilities, so base64 encoding, um, hex conversions, uh, rounding, mathematic functions. Like there's all kinds of contracts that need to get written that other ecosystems have done. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have, till December
You,
15th to get inside First Light. But one of the reasons we called it First Light is because we wanted to keep the name Sorabonathon around
yep.
to keep rolling these. So the funding doesn't end on December 15th. I don't
So I
know.
mean,
These
I
opportunities are
just
just
yeah.
fantastic.
They're out there and like it's just not just now. Keep these ideas in your back pocket ready when the next Sorabonathon launches and hit those submission buttons instantly. Or the next Hackasaurabon might launch in January, so on and so forth. So I'm foreshadowing a lot of hackathons here. So basically, keep those ideas ready to go. We have a lot coming, and as Tyler just said, the funding does not end just on December 15th. Also, as for funding, while we're on that topic, I will get everyone's payments out. There were a flood of submissions this past week. So those payments are coming. So TBD, please be patient with me while I have folks on stream here that might have submitted as well. So those are coming.
Where's my money?
I know. that is always the $1 million question, Tyler. It sounded like someone was having wallet trouble earlier as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Um, yeah. So definitely, yes. Where is my money, Tyler? That is a question.
It's in a wallet somewhere protected by a secret key. I'm going through a tunnel.
But yeah, sweet. I think Matthew's. I wonder what the reward would be on that one. Integrate a Sorbonne runtime with an EVM host. I wonder what the reward would be on that one.
Good.
Pretty good, I would
I'd like to see
presume.
one with TypeScript, like a TypeScript. I don't know if it'd have to be like interpolator so that it converted back down to Rust. I know we have was an assembly script
Mhm.
um, compiler, so I don't know.
We
There's some
want
really
an
cool stuff we
assembly
can do,
from
and other
this.
teams are doing. So now is a good time. Again, establish yourself if you've wanted to kind of get involved more in the tech side. And we got a new year coming. Nice time for some
Hmm.
resolutions. I'm finally going to start that blog. Um, Whatever your hopes and dreams have always been, now you've got a really good technology to kind of grab a hold of. I remember back when I don't know if you guys remember Ionic. It was kind of like a React Native competitor, kind of how I got my start way back in the day. And there were a couple of folks. It was new technology. But it was really interesting where you could use web technology on to build mobile apps. So I mean that's all very common for us now, but it was really new back in the day. And there were a couple of folks who grabbed a hold of that and just turned their whole career into teaching people how to use Ionic. And that's a pretty common thing. There's not like hundreds of them, but a few people who dedicate themselves to like this is going to be my thing is
Hmm.
writing a ton, doing a bunch of contracts, really understanding this technology, um, and creating a space for themselves as content creators and educators, um, creating content, whether they put it up on Udemy or create their own blog for it. I would love to see that happen.
Oh my
That
God,
was kind of
imagine a
the direction that I was
Sorbonne.
headed before I got acquired by STF, to just be a subject matter expert. It's hard. Like if you're 5, 6, 10 years late, it can be a little bit more difficult because the space has already been established, and it's just a little bit more difficult to bring yourself up to speed. But you're literally getting into the ground floor. Like if you're on the stream, if you're playing Stellar Quest, if you're in pre-alpha, this is your chance to kind
Yep.
of say, I want to teach this stuff. This stuff is super interesting to me, and I could build a course, and I could get paid to do it, and I could put it up on Udemy or Code Sandbox or what, Code School. Like there's lots of these coding platforms and places where people learn, and just establishing yourself, not really waiting for permission, but just I'm going to be the expert. I'm going to teach people this stuff and build a course and get paid. Oh shoot, there's a company. I'd have to remember the name of it. I'll have to post it later, but
Hmm.
that does these paid subscriptions where you can build out an audience. Um, with subscription. I think with all the stuff happening with Twitter, it's a really good time to kind of begin thinking about
There's one called
transitioning off
Passes.
platform.
I don't know
Um,
if you've heard of passes.com, but they're actually a Web3 based creator funding program.
no, I can't
It's
remember. This
subscription
one's
based as well, but there's
right.
so many out
There's
there
so
right
many of
now
these out there,
that are
but
also at ground zero. If you wanted to build like early stage subscription as well, there's some opportunities there. Matthew said it was Mattis said it was teachable. No, I don't think so.
I mean that's another one.
Yeah, Linda's another
Skillshare
one.
was
I don't
one.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of the
lynda.com.
yeah. I don't know how many of these, but you like build partnerships. So many of these code schools too, even if they're more like code source, are looking for teachers in the Web3 space, particularly for nascent technology that may be taking over or is establishing itself as a leader in the Web3 space. Would be looking for teachers. I know when I was doing Treehouse, there were a couple of folks um, who were brought on as like guest speakers who had a whole course on design or UX or um, PHP that then
Mm-hmm.
kind of became either mainstay teachers or went on to become very, very successful um, educators and well followed and stuff that I always thought would be super, super fun. I did a stint at a company called Thinkful
Mm-hmm.
as a design teacher, actually. Um, and it was a load of fun. I mean, again, you just never learn more than when you're trying to teach stuff. And I found that to be so rewarding and such a great way to accelerate your own skill set if you're either looking to career change or just accelerate your own career or maybe do a transition within tech, but you don't have the time or the energy or know where to start. You like can't get a job doing something you don't know. Start
Mm-hmm.
teaching it because people will start paying you right away as soon as you can start teaching something, and you can start teaching something after you read a blog post. Put yourself on a camera, sit down and write an article. It's the stuff that seems really simple, but so many other people are just unwilling, unable, disinterested in doing that make all the difference.
It's simply just being disciplined enough to just sit down and write about it, I think. And
Yeah.
just being like, hey, this is what I've learned from my journey of doing so. And I mean, Sorbonne's so early that it's growing and it's just very dynamic that getting in on it right now just seems the perfect time. So you're already here, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely would have been the route that I took, and really was the route I took when Stellar was first coming out. I was like, here's something, everybody's using it for wallets. I want to use it for something more. Started writing. I built a lot of apps more than just teaching. But that's really how I went from farming to engineering.
Not crypto farming, y'all. Physical
Not
farming.
crypto farming, though I did have a stint doing algorithmic crypto trading. We don't talk about those things.
But yeah. So Tyler, tell us about custom. Well, okay, let's do a quick rewind of the previous class then, or do you want to?
Sure. Yeah. I've got my screen up here. What do we got? We got a 20 minutes. Let me see if I can find the right window. I too have many a tab.
Many tabs.
That looks right.
There you go.
All right. So previous quest was cross contract calls. That was a week ago, eh? That was a ton of fun. I love cross contract calls, and we already talked a little bit about this in the sense of it gives you this ability to not have to put all of your logic into a single contract. Like there are bounds, particularly in blockchain. You can't just put an infinite number of anything anywhere. So you have to split stuff up. So cross contract calls is a fantastic way to do that. The basic gist was you have to redeploy the auth store contract, store something in one of those key values, and then call it through a cross contract call. Definitely tripped a lot of people up. It was a slow one to beat, which is great. That's how I know I'm doing my job correctly, is it's not so easy. And that's only going to continue. I'm gonna emphasize that strongly today. To slow down and read rather than try and rush. I actually got the right prize schedule out today, so we've got a more extended, higher end prize pool towards the front half. So take your time. If you want to rush, fine, but it's going to trip you up because things are going to be difficult until you start to read things out. But again, there are the pros out there who will try and ignore this warning. But hey, when you place poorly, don't come crying to me. Because again, there's like two things here. First is I'm really not trying to just like give lumens away. It's not a farming opportunity. It's an educational platform for programmers. So my goal is to teach. Now we were teaching a very nascent, very new piece of technology, and so we had to start really slow. But we've gone through the basics. We know how to deploy contracts. We know how to invoke contracts. Last week, we really actually started exploring some of these more complex argument types. So how you like turn something, how you actually call an account, for example. So you have to turn it into this weird JSON object, which is the XDR representation. It's a weird complex argument. That's how you use Sorbonne. So we've really gone through a whole lot of those details, those ground layers. And now we're starting to dive more deeply into actually implementing and integrating and customizing. You'll notice that up to date, we really haven't written any Rust. That changes today. It's going to get trickier. So slow down. You might have to read some of the Rust book. One of my favorite courses, and I wouldn't suggest maybe, unless you're really stuck, actually going out and taking the whole course, but Rustlings is a Gitpod environment for actually walking through a lot of the custom Rust types. This is how I learned Rust, and I'm by no means a Rust expert, but I can at least look at a Rust file and not be terrified anymore. So that Rustlings course was really, really good for me. And if you're enjoying this Gitpod-like experience, they have a whole Gitpod stack for learning Rust. Right. So I would really encourage people in between quests, maybe after this quest during the holidays, to spend some time in that quest and exploring that so that you can understand Rust a little bit better and understand how to actually deploy and customize smart contracts. With that said, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, all of these quests have been building on top of each other, which is really cool to see. Like, Auth was really a big part of last quest, and now, like, I feel like you could pull from the previous quest. Is there anything like that with this upcoming quest with custom types?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So custom types, I mean, I don't want to give it all away, but a huge part of custom types is when you're looking in Sorbonne, anytime you're not passing like a JSON object, it's happening. It's just happening somewhere behind the scenes inside the Sorbonne CLI, where that conversion to whatever kind of type it is, whether it's a symbol or a contract hash, whatever it might be, that conversion is happening. It's just kind of happening behind the scenes. You can't make that conversion for an arbitrary, unknown, infinite number of custom types. So what you have to do is sort of say, at some point, we stop making this simple, and people just need to learn how to convert whatever type they have into that JSON object for that argument. And so we started exploring that last time, right, with custom contracts where you're calling a public key inside that JSON object. This is just going to explode whatever thing was difficult or we thought about that one to a whole nother level. So if you hated last quest, you're going to have a real good time today. But you're really going to learn it for as long as it takes you to sort it out. But yeah, this concept of just like building on top of each other again and again and again. I even really liked with the auth store contract that people could have gotten like a sneak preview, would have taken them longer, but they would have been in a better position to do cross contract last week or custom types this week.
Right. Also, Tyler, your mic is very crackly, and I just wanted to mention it. Not a big deal. It's not that bad, but it is a little crackly.
Sorry.
No, all good. It sounds like a fire. What can I say? From the holiday spirit.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure where that comes from.
But yeah, no, it's just I was like, all of these quests have been building on top of each other, and I see some part of the previous quest being pulled into it. So I was curious on that end. So I feel like you dropped quite a bit of hints. So if y'all wanted to go back, review the previous quest, probably might be a good idea. Sounds like.
Yes, indeedy. And I try to drop a pretty sufficient hit every time that I give a title for a quest. That should give you sufficient documentation helps to go and figure out for those who really want to try and get a competitive edge. A lot of people just like to wait and see what it is. But if you want to be pro, if you want to be in that upper echelon, doing your research beforehand is the better move.
Definitely. And starting with your previous quests is a good place, and documentation.
Yep, rustlings.
Yeah.
Again, like you knew it was going to happen, right, guys? Come on. You knew it was coming or you're going to have to actually write some Rust. I wasn't going to let you go the whole series without actually modifying a Rust file. So hopefully some folks have been actually starting to dig into the Rustlang.
And this is part of, I'm looking it up right now. So Rust and Gitpod. Is that what you're referring to, Tyler?
Rustlings.
Is that a GitHub repo?
Yeah, if you just type Rustlings, it should come up. Let me post it in chat here.
What's Rust? I know, right?
Rust is this thing that happens to metal when it gets wet and then oxidizes. That's what I thought it was.
That is what I thought it was too, up until now.
Yeah, Rustlings, if you scroll down into the README there, they have a open in Gitpod link. So that's what I went through that course. It's a very well documented, difficult course, but it really will cover most everything you need to know. And they've set it up really well, where you walk through each of the quests, or I guess the challenges. You'll notice that it's kind of similar. It's obviously not identical, but we took a lot of inspiration from Rustlings when we were building out SQ.
I see. So it's like little tiny exercises and challenges to solve as you learn Rust, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Okay. So this would have been really nice to know last week, so people could have spent doing the week doing
I don't know.
Rustling.
I mean, I've been talking about Rustlings since the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Got it.
We're literally writing Rust. I mean,
fair enough.
Folks should know. But for those who are new, who are like, wait, the heck is this? I'm mentioning it again. Take the Rustlings course, go back and replay old quests, then do Sorbonne-a-thon to win your own self-paced maximum prize.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think Sorbonnethon should be like a evergreen thing, but we'll see. Something that I would like to
Yeah, if it was
discuss.
guided,
But yeah,
wasn't open season, but had categories or things we were able to orient
towards like
particular content. Again, like what we really need right now as a new technology is lots of experts, people that are really interested in learning and growing with the tech. Because we're in this weird space of we don't want to generate a ridiculous amount of SEO that's going to be
mhm,
outdated before we hit mainnet. What we
right,
need are a ton of people that love the technology that are willing to update their content and create new content, all the
right,
different forms of it, written, video, audio, um, so that when we do hit mainnet, we are ready with people to build out content and
yeah,
share it and have a good audience of people that are generating lots of helpful information, which
tools
we
and
definitely
yeah.
have.
I
Um,
mean, I think saying expert, like we need people to get to expert level by the time mainnet launches. I think is what you're trying to say, right, Tyler? Like
yeah, probably.
in a
I
way,
mean,
yeah,
it's one of those things. We don't need experts already. We need people
right.
that are like,
Are willing,
I'm self proclaiming myself
right,
as an expert. I will learn this thing. I will be
right,
good at this thing.
right.
It's just technology. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, it isn't rocket science.
I was a farmer. We can figure this out.
I mean,
Farming's
I
hard though.
personally like my personal resolution is definitely like I want to create more content on Sorbonne. I've been saying it for a while. So, I mean, hey man, if anyone else wants to join me on this journey to create Sorbonne tutorials and content, let me know.
Yeah, I'm planning on like documenting. If
Right?
I'm
You
really
want to do
hoping
the
I'm able to
dev
like carve
tube.
out time every week
Yep.
um, to just like take on a project. So like an NFT project or a
Mhm.
lending protocol or something relatively achievable in a week, and then just document the whole process on dev.to.
Yep.
So it's less like these well polished, eternal. This is the tutorial for how you do NFTs, and more just like this journey exploration.
Hmm.
Um, which again is just kind of establish myself as somebody who knows Soroban, and then also I need to know it if I'm going to teach it and build quests around it and help our contractors build out quests for it and stuff. Um,
Here's a great
that would
question.
be
Does
really nice.
SDF give you creativity time? I think SDF in general, yeah, probably. I would say
SDF
yes.
is creativity time,
Yeah.
but it
Like
would be nice. I don't. Again, you have to like figure out what exactly the ROI or the output on it would be. I would love to have like internal hackathons where we can do cross team collaboration and
who said we
um,
aren't about to, Tyler?
I know. I'm very excited about this. I've wanted this for a long time. But then
Yeah.
also combining that with some sort of public facing output. So it isn't only internal, but also has some sort of public facing digestible piece of content. Um, so that both the ecosystem and internal folks can benefit from just having the opportunity to step outside their normal day job routine
Hmm.
um, and learn something new or I don't know. I get so much value when I expand my horizons outside of the focus that I have. It's really good to have focus and not to be distracted, but you can get tunnel vision
Right.
and even start to think that only like I'm on the DevRel team, so top of funnel
Is yeah.
is the only thing I really think about. And then there's the whole other side that's like enterprise level and big institution level integrations and partnerships and stuff that marketing things that I don't really touch that I can start to either begin to think isn't important or the value or the product the benefits that I'm generating or that we create together never trickle back.
Hmm.
Um, and so getting that pot to stir so the ingredients gets all mixed together is really valuable. You just
Yeah.
don't want that all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I think also, I mean, Tyler's really foreshadowing very hard here with the hackathons I've been talking about. But in January, come time, we will be launching a hackathon, and it's going to be focused around tools that we want to see on Sorbonne. So I am giving everyone that's watching the stream a head start here. So start thinking of ideas on tooling that we want to see for Sorbonne. Like, I mean, we have this transaction explorer right now. We had a Lee's fiddle and all these cool things are just springing up, and so we want to see more of that. And I mean, wallets and wallet integrations, things like that. With Sorbonne is another big one. So start like doing exploration of other ecosystems. If you're someone who's been a tried and true stellar person, and see what they have, and we can convert that here, and you can in fact use the pre-existing infrastructure that we already have at Stellar, to make it even better, right? So that's one thing. And just if you're someone who is just starting out, just, I mean, do a lot of the prep work right now, which you already are. And come time, we're going to start focusing on tools next. And we still want to keep tinkering, and we still want to have fun. So that being like, you just want to build some random fart machines for, I don't know, a jingle every time a transaction happens or something of that nature. That's also something we would love to see come January. So I did a lot of foreshadowing here. But yeah,
I remember there was an entry in SCF called Crypto Cannoneer that started to really explore a lot of this like
the Desert Blockchain
unbelievably weird outlier use cases, or just integrations with Stellar. I would love to see more of that stuff.
I love how Elliot goes like, "Did you just say random fart machines?" I did. Hey man, who knows? A fart every time a transaction happens. There you go. But no, seriously, like build some like stupid useless projects are even worth it. I mean, who knows? I might even throw in a most useless Sorbonne entry submission category in there too. Like we want to have a good time building this technology, and I think right now we have this two categories as what I see is like, we have the people who just want to have fun, tinker, and then we have those who are looking to make the experience better. And you said you can't be both. Generative farts, man, we love farts. So definitely, yeah.
This is going too far.
I know. But we have a lot of opportunities here. So start thinking, start talking to me in Discord. I'm available. I've had people like start messaging me on Discord recently, asking me about submissions, things like that. I'm always there and available. Our Discord's up top, by the way. There is my shameless Discord plug as well. This is like a two-thing. Anuka comes in with two things to do on the stream: Sorbonne-a-thon and this Discord. So be sure to join the Discord as well if you aren't already on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, those like Discords always get shilled to no end, but I think we do take really great pride in building a really good Discord experience where we don't have endless channels, and we try and keep it focused. There's not a lot of noise in there. Like there are the Sorbonne devs answering questions, forums.
It's actually useful.
It's actually quite useful. I actually have found myself using it more often than Slack to get answers from the Sorbonne devs when I have questions.
Right.
It's actually really good. I've been in a lot of Discords, and some are better than others.
Yep. 6 more minutes, Tyler, or 5 more minutes, actually.
Indeed, yes. I'm going to get this commit. I'm doing one last review. This one's tricky, guys. If it ends up breaking, you have to promise me. I understand it's Quest 5. All the kinks should be worked out by now. I get it, but I came off a break. I had the flu.
Tyler has his reasons, y'all.
I have my reasons.
Be patient.
They're not excuses. They're reasons.
Yes.
I'm really excited about this one, though.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the last, not quite the last. Quest 6 will really be the last, but the last tool in the toolbox to equip everyone to actually start writing their own smart contracts.
Right. Anything people need to do from now till Quest 6, Tyler, for asset interoperabilities?
Read lots of documentation, and if you fake your way through this quest, don't. Rewind, figure out how you succeeded. Success is wonderful, but if you don't know how you achieved it, have you really learned anything?
Right. Dang, Tyler.
So make sure you rewind and really get this quest. There's a reason that we changed the order and took out Dapple sauce, because we really needed to be able to get asset interop. We really needed custom types. So don't skim through this one. It may be pain and suffering, but have some corn. You'll survive. And then learn. Make sure you really get it before the last quest.
Fair enough. My account gets flagged. Did it actually? I don't know.
It's highly likely. We flagged a load of accounts. We take XLM farming very seriously here, and
Excellent farming. Oh, XLM farming. I thought
XLM
you
farming
said
very seriously
excellent
here.
farming. Okay, I was like
It
excellent
was
farming.
excellent in the sense that it happened a lot,
Yep.
but we don't take kindly to that. So we flagged a bunch of accounts um, to make sure we really let the developers have the engineers have their good time
Yep.
learning and earning.
There you go. Can they revive their accounts after being banned, Tyler?
Nope, they can keep playing for NFTs. They just can't earn any XLM. So you can continue to learn and collect those NFTs, which are honestly probably the more valuable thing long term. But Stellar Quest is for developers.
I
So
like the statement here. It's people who are here to learn are not banned. That's probably true.
that's right. And regardless of whether or not your account gets flagged, you can always
Keep
learn.
learning. Yeah.
Which actually, honestly, wasn't always true. We used to do straight bans off the platform. We don't do that anymore. Um, we we allow people to keep going for the NFTs, but XLM rewards will be removed from people who have acted in suspicious ways that trigger internal checks.
All right, Tyler. 2 minutes.
All right, fantastic. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do a final review on this commit. Good luck, everybody. As there are issues, legitimate issues, make sure to post those in our Discord. Join our Discord. If you're not able to chat, it's because you have to claim some badges first. You can do that in the Learn series. So you don't have to claim live badges to be able to chat. You can do Learn series, but Discord's got this wonderful feature called Search. I would use it if you're not able to chat. Even if you are able to chat, look up questions like whatever you were going to type that into the search, and see if somebody else has already asked that question. It's a great way to find answers. It's pretty rare for people to have unique issues. So you should be able to find common issues in the Discord if you search, whether on the help forum. Help forum has a great search, but then Discord itself has really got great indexing.
Yeah, and shout out to our amazing Discord mods. Like seriously, they help you. Like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
insane. Like
Yeah.
y'all
I
are
basically don't
amazing.
answer any questions. I have a special channel called Kale Pale DEFCON 1.
Right.
And unless something shows up in that channel because it's something I actually had to fix, all the other 8,000 forum posts and questions and
You have like
the
you have a
moderators solve all
special
those.
task force team is how I see it. It's insane. They're amazing.
Yeah,
So
they're
seriously, shout out to y'all.
top shelf.
I know. Happy questing, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you start questing in about 40 seconds. All right.
All right. See y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Happy
Take
questing.
care.